our population to be able to venture into the agricultural sector and grow. But now if you have to be able to only use a broker to be able to sell, you are actually going back to the colonial era when our country was, the crops in our country were defined between the cash crops economy, and in fact at that particular time we're only growing goods to be able to feed the British in the UK and also the West. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this definition of who a buyer should be should actually be completely rejected. And I'd hope that the committee would have said, we delete this. Because I've gone through the report. The committee has done a fantastic job. And let me thank the chairperson on agriculture. But I hope that, Mr. Speaker, that the chairperson would have gone and said the committee rejected this amendment and suggested the following, so that it guides us, so that even when we select a team to go through mediation, they can be able to go and say, this is the language to be used. I'd hope that they would have said, in terms of the buyer, remove, delete that. Just let everybody be able to buy. Now, the second part, which I also detest, is the issue where, for me to be able to grow, first of all, you're required that a farmer is defined, a buyer is defined. Even a grower to be defined. So before I grow coffee, I have to go and say, which plant can I grow here? I strongly believe that we should have that completely deleted. I noted that the committee had accepted that clause amendment, but I'm of the view that every Kenyan who has an interest, we are training students, Mr. Speaker. I'm currently recruiting 100 students of Narok County to be able to offer scholarships to them and train them in agribusiness. I don't want to be able to guide those students and tell them, you can only be able to plant this tree. So certain definition needs to be removed. So, Mr. Speaker, without wasting so much time, I wish to request my colleagues to go through these amendments one by one, so that when we go through the committee of the whole, sometimes by just rejecting it doesn't help. I think we should be able to figure out, and we can work with the Secretariat, on how we can also further amend those clauses. And then when now we go to the mediation, there is a version that will be coming from the Senate. But if we are just saying that we have rejected because of the following reason and not giving an alternative, that is what will lead to the committee or mediation committee taking more than the 70 days that the majority leader has alluded to. So, Mr. Speaker, I equally reject or oppose this bill, these amendments, and I root for liberalization of the coffee industry. Let everyone grow. In terms of marketing, I've seen that in terms of marketing, you also have to be licensed. If I travel today and I go to the States and I sit with Starbucks and they tell me that they want to buy coffee in Kenya, I cannot market coffee there as a Kenyan. I have to say, okay, let me look for a licensed marketer. This should be a willing buyer, willing seller. So let's liberalize this economy. Let's allow more people to grow coffee as they wish. Let's do away. We must now divorce ourselves from this colonial mentality of defining our agricultural sector as a cash crop and other crops. We're still following through. Sorry, Mr. Speaker. We need to stop it. We need to be able to say, now you go, if you can grow coffee in Narok, grow. If you can even add value and consume it locally, so be it. But if you can grow and now want to go and sell abroad, then it will make sense to go through the brokerage so that you earn more money. So, Mr. Speaker, without dealing more on this matter, I oppose these amendments, and I hope that, and I support the committee report fully, and I oppose the motion. I support the committee for having done their work, but I oppose the motion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mogeni.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I'm also speaking on behalf of my farmers. From my 4 constituencies in Nyamira, 3 of them farmers who grow coffee, who grow and sell coffee, Senator Mundigi. That is North Mogirango, West Mogirango, and Kitutu. And the North Mogirango, Mr. Speaker, neighbors, my good friend, Senator Cheruyot. But what I've never understood, both for my tea farmers and the coffee farmers, I've never understood why farmers from central Kenya earn more money than my farmers from Nyamira, and even from Kericho. I've never understood. Senator Cheruyot, I don't know whether you are aware, our farmers, dry coffee, they were paid $2.39. From where Senator Wamatinga comes from, they were paid 500 shillings. 356, not 500. At times this time we had to pay, I'm happy. Because the other time they were earning 1.5 times more than others. You know, we want fairness for all our farmers. When we sell coffee or tea, we are selling coffee coming from Kenya. We never sell coffee coming from Nyanza or coffee from Central. We sell it as coffee coming from a country called Kenya. So we want fairness for farmers, both from Central, where our brothers are, we have in-laws there, and also farmers from Nyanza, from Rift Valley. And we have the same problem even in tea, where we understand that farmers from Central Kenya fetch better prices than our farmers from Nyamira. We want the government, if it's to regulate the auctions, the selling of tea, we get fairness, Senator Muti. The farmer in Nyamira and the farmer in Central wants to pay school fees. They want to buy a kilo of meat for themselves. They also want to wear nice suits. So we want fairness. So I mean, whatever laws we are passing here, the thing should be fairness to all the farmers in Kenya. We are benefiting because I'm told in Brazil, there was very bad weather that has affected coffee production. So we are now gaining here. Let's gain all of us. If we are earning 350, let it be 350. But Mr. Speaker, we also want the government to assist our farmers. You know, because the coffee has now become the black gold, farmers are facing a lot of problems. You bring your coffee, you store it in a coffee society, chances are that somebody somewhere will plan and rob you. But I don't know about Central. In my area, I can speak for my coffee societies, where I come from. If you go to West Mogirango in Nyangoko, you go to Kemera in West Mogirango, or you go to Eaka in North Mogirango, there is no proper fencing of our coffee societies. Why can the government step in, create a fund, fence these coffee societies nicely? Because the farmers are also contributing to foreign earning. Face the coffee societies nicely, okay? Have a gate entry to the coffee factory, connect them to electricity, okay? Improve their beds, the beds they use for drying coffee, so that they can also enjoy and say the environment we are trying to make money from is good and appreciates the farmer. Mr. Speaker, last year, a watchman, a night guard, was attacked and killed by thieves who were stealing coffee from Eaka Coffee Society in North Mogirango. And up to date, as I'm speaking today, the person who attacked this farmer, or the persons, have not been arrested to date. So we also need to understand that the environment under which we process and store our coffee exposes our farmers to a lot of risk. So I would want the government to also step in, assist these farmers. Some of the societies have loans that have been outstanding for many years. Anytime they make good earning, their money goes to repaying their loans. I hope the government can step in and help. Now, some of the proposals in this from the National Assembly are hard to understand. Surely, why does SRC want to come in to set sitting allowances for members of coffee societies? I mean, we are overstretching the mandate of SRC. SRC wants to come to Nyamira to sit in North Mogirango, sit in Kitutu, sit in West Mogirango to tell farmers what their sitting allowance would be. Because you can set a sitting allowance that the farmers will never afford. the allowance should meet the earnings of the farmer from that coffee society. But don't tell us that you set a blanket. Maybe farmers in Embu make more money. They want to pay the directors sitting allowance that cannot be matched by farmers in Nyamira. So if you make good money there, pay them more. If we are not able to make good money in Nyamira, we want to save on the allowances we pay to our directors. So I don't agree with this proposal that SRC should now come in meddling and saying they are the one is setting allowances for farmers. I hope people will go to do mediation, will strike off that amendment. I don't understand whether our brothers in National Assembly don't live in our counties where we come from. This is something they should be able to understand. SRC will think a board member attending a meeting should be paid 25,000. If you pay a director for 4 months, you will whip out the earnings from the cooperative society. So let that be a matter that will be dealt with by the farmers themselves. They will see the earnings from that society and then decide the remuneration they are going to give their directors. I like this idea of value addition. We have spoken about value addition for ages. When you go and take a cup of tea, Senator Cheragay, I was in Gishu